Hey guys, welcome to the Foxhole. I'm Nandor Fox Shaffer, and this is the first session in what I hope to be a weekly series with a lot of different creators coming on. This is the Comic Book Writers Room, and this is a live stream that we're going to be doing. And I'm excited for everyone to be here. We already have some people that are waiting to be on, and I'm so glad to be doing this. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and kind of introducing what the series is, what I hope for it to be. I'll kind of go through a few points of why I wanted to do this and the kind of productivity and the things that I'd love, for it to be, and as we go along here. But thanks for everyone joining. I really, want everyone to, if you're watching live, to participate and ask questions and be a part of what we're doing here. And if you're aspiring writer and you want to learn more about making comics, and if you're stuck someplace in a story or you don't know where to begin, I'd love to help out, and other creators here would love to do that too. So a big reason why I wanted to do this stream was I want uh, kind of as I've gotten more involved in the indie creator scene, I've noticed how much, which makes total sense, but how much focus it is on, with especially when it comes to YouTube artists and doing live streams and live drawing and those types of things. And I've always felt so out of place in that regard because I've never been a good artist and I never had much to show. I think, and being a writer, it's like, how do you visually show that? How do you show your writing? Because if you're just showing text, it's not that interesting, and it's just like, what do you do? And so I've always felt like, uh, there hasn't been a hub or a place for writers to necessarily come together and work on things and to show what they're doing and showing their progress. And with art, it's really easy to show that because as an artist, you just it's right there in front of you. You can see how someone is getting to the end of the page, and you see that. But when it comes to being a writer, it's a lot more difficult. Now I know a lot more, and of course, a lot more writers are uh, probably a lot more introverted too, so that they don't really want to like put themselves out there. And I'm totally one of those people that's like, man, this is really hard to like put yourself out there. And if you're in the indie scene, being someone who can show progress and show what they're working on, and engage with the audience at the same time, because as a writer you can't really talk at the same time as you're writing a lot of the time, because you're in the zone, and you're trying to get this done. And it takes it's a very isolated career, and it can be a very lonely thing to do. Um, and but that's kind of the whole point of it too, is uh, you're doing all this by yourself, working on it and getting it done. And so, a big reason why I wanted to have this and do the comic book writers room is to bring writers together as much as possible with um, their current projects and what they're working on, and how they can, show their progression and show how far they've come. And whether it's like, hey, I'm working on the series and I'm writing issue one. And then as we keep doing these, we'll see how they get to the next issue or the next story arc, and how they've done, two or three crowdfunding campaigns down the line. And we can see that growth, and, kind of sharing that and be like, cool. And, it'd be awesome if someone's like, they came up with their bright idea or their great idea, during these streams. And we can also talk about just our favorite stories and things that inspire us as creators and writers. So that's a big reason why I wanted to do this. And also, I never, honestly, in my area, I don't really live in a highly populated area, so it makes sense. But um, I don't really have anyone to talk about like comic book creation and writing and creating in my area, and that's always been something that I've really wanted, and have kind of missed out on. And I love kind of bouncing off ideas off people, and talking about that. And I have a few friends, of course, that are awesome about it, and they totally are great at it, and I love them for it. But there's also like there's so many creators out there, and something we can do with social media and the internet, of course, is connect with those people. And I always thought it'd be so cool if there was a place for people like me who was just a writer and they could come together and do this together. And of course, if you're an artist too, you're a writer artist, that's even better because you can show off your art and your writing and your storytelling all in one. And I love that. And I envy that, because I think that's so cool. Um, that's a big reason why I wanted to do this. And so, uh, I hope this will be a really cool thing that all of us can get behind. And so, yeah, I'm gonna bring in some people here, and we'll introduce everyone. So this is gonna be really cool. Let's see here, get everyone. Sweet. Good. Already got
Hello.
Hey,
Oh,
how's everyone doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
great.
Well, today.
Awesome. Yeah. So, what I'd like to do, and I'll start, and as we get other people on here, we can do this too, and have them kind of introduce themselves. But uh, as we'll go through each person here, and just say your name, and say like how long you've been writing, or how long you've been writing comics, or that you've been working in the industry, or being an indie creator professional, doesn't matter. um, and what you're currently going to be working on tonight, or what you're currently working on throughout the week, and just kind of let everyone know, maybe where they can find you, or where they can find your work. But just kind of want to introduce everyone, and let everyone watching and listening kind of who you are and what you're working on. So we'll start with Eben here, and we'll go to Peter, and down to Joe and on.
Fantastic. Well, Nandor, thanks for setting this up. I think it's awesome. So my name is Eben Matthews, and as a writer, actually started as an illustrator. So I have an illustration background, an illustration degree, and then found myself, wanting to be more in charge of kind of developing and creating stories and storytelling about, lifelong comics fan. And so I've done a lot of different things over the course of my career, but I really took the turn into writing specifically after having a branding and media agency for a bunch of years. I segued into the video game world. And so myself and my business partners and my writing partners, a guy named Adam Martin, we ended up writing, directing, and producing kind of cinematics for video games for years. And that brought us kind of weirdly into comics, because we ended up doing kind of being one of the pioneers of the whole motion comics thing, which some people feel like awesome, and some people are like, we hate you guys. But I think both of those are valid responses, by the way. But so we kind of segued into comics that way, and then worked on putting together a Boondock Saints graphic novel, where we were in charge of putting the whole package together, and that brought me really back into the kind of traditional comics world. And then from there, started writing our own comics material. We have a series called Dead Town, which we've been working on for many, many, many years. And through Dead Town, that actually led to what we currently do, which is we co-founded a company called Macroverse, which is kind of a next generation digital comics platform. And I know Nandor because we also have been working on bringing Seasons, his series, over onto Macroverse, and
totally
a lot of fun stuff there. So as a shameless plug, all of season 2 of Seasons, the whole arc of Spring, will be rolling out on our platform this week. So we hope people will check that out. But not to steal away from what this is all about, what I'm currently working on as far as writing is actually 3 things. One is we just finished, we're putting the finishing touches on the 5th audio drama that we've been doing kind of secretly on the side. So I'll have more to say about that later, but we've been producing some audio, kind of narrative audio stuff. And then I'm starting to work on an unannounced comics project that is also a Macroverse project. But we've stayed away very intentionally from superhero material. But I think I've got a take on it that I'm actually really excited about. And so I've personally been kind of noodling with, what would our version of superheroes be if we were going to do superhero stuff? And so I've just broken kind of the basic outline for what this world might look like, and then the first kind of cold open or opening sequence for what kind of kicks off this concept. So I finished that this past week. And then for this evening, I'm going to be kind of hanging out with you guys while I'm actually working on some promo and marketing stuff in the background for some upcoming releases for Macroverse as well. And then if there's some opportunity to chime in about writing process and craft, like that's one of my favorite things over the past handful of years, kind of really getting into, what the narrative kind of structure of things are, and sort of how we think about, what drives story, what drives character, what drives conflict, like how all those things come together has really become one of my favorite things to talk about. And I've had the great pleasure of working with a lot of other writers in various capacities, kind of bringing those things or finding our way through those things. So if there's a chance to engage in, in any of that, I'm definitely here for it. And just, again, appreciate you setting this up. I think it's so great.
Thanks. Yeah, no, that's so cool, man. Like that's some awesome stuff you're going to be working on. And I love being a part of Macroverse and doing all that. So yeah, everyone check out, Seasons on Macroverse, and check out the app. It's something else. Yeah,
if you haven't seen it, again, final shameless plug for Macroverse, because it's not what really this evening's about. But if you haven't seen it, iOS and Android, easy to find on the app stores. We've got a totally different format for what digital comics are. We unabashedly think it's the best format for what digital comics are, but it kind of brings some cinematic language into the experience without being animation, still being true to what the art form is. And love the way that Seasons has worked, as a translation. So definitely encourage everybody to check that out. And I will now stop talking. Go ahead.
All right, Peter, let's go to you, man.
Okay, so I'm Peter Ahola. I've been drawing comics since high school, but I really got more professional on it in 2014. Online, I go by the name Green Raptor Studios, which I initially started in 2014. I work with a friend from high school. I've got like 2 comics going right now. The main one I work on is called Kalwa, which is a time traveling story, and it's currently on its 23rd chapter.
Wow.
And I've been working on it since 2014. But what I also have going right now, which is actually what I'm working on tonight, I have a one-shot comic called Amber, World's Greatest Mer Thief, which, to put it bluntly, is sort of like Lupin the Third, but with a mermaid. So she's a master thief who roams around the world. She's got like the entire ocean as her headquarters, and she gets intelligence from the ocean, all these fish trying to help her out with all these heists. And we're about 6 pages is out from finishing the one shot. I'm actually working on the page right now. And that's what I'll be working on tonight. And I actually just started penning up work for my next mini-series, which I'll be doing after Amber. I've got a whole bunch of original characters that I've been drawing around for years, and I'm now starting to try to give them their own comics.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for my work, I've got 2 websites, which are both interlinked. One is called greenraptorstudios.com. And then I've also got Kalwa's own website, which is called Kalwa Webcomic, which is like jointly linked to the Green Raptor site. And that's where all the Kalwa stuff goes. And I'm always working on Kalwa in the background and cranking out the stories for that, while also doing work on my other characters too, which I usually do as one-shots or mini-series or something.
Yeah.
And I actually just got myself a brand new job, a full-time job, which I'm hoping will allow me to bring in some money to actually start attending cons once they start up again. And we're actually looking right now to start publishing Calwa in paperback. Probably do that in the summertime, but we're also going to try launching it as an Amazon Kindle book. And we're going to do that as soon as I get the dialogue checks back from my co-writer. We just got 3 more chapters that we need to double check the dialogue. And then once all that's put in, we can send it over to Amazon as an ebook.
Nice, man. No, that's really cool. I've been watching you put out Kawa, like, for the last couple of years, and you've been really consistent with it. And I've always really appreciated that, and seeing how you guys keep working on it, and it's still coming out, and it seems like it's a big part of your creative career and what you want to do, and I think that
and the thing is, I'm going for about 100 chapters with it. That's about the whole story, and I just keep cranking it along. And I really got into it like with the second chapter. I just got this injection of inspiration that just keeps going, and I have stories and an overarching story, and I'm just pushing it through, and I'm just going to keep on doing it. And there are times, of course, where I start to get crazy from it, which is why I try to turn to my other comics too, to sort of try other ideas and take my mind off of it for a while. And I just keep going on it, and I will just keep going until I expire or the story.
Yeah, man, you just gotta do what you gotta do with it, and I know what that's like. When you have been working on something for a really long time, and you have to keep there's no end in sight until it's the end, until it's the end of the story. And if it keeps calling you back to it, it's an unfinished thing, and that's something that I really can appreciate, because when there's a story that's really nagging at you to complete and finish, and it doesn't leave your head, the only thing left to do is to finish it. You can't really do anything else, even if maybe no one else sees it. It's to finish it for you, because it's like, this is just going to bother me until the end of time.
And over the course of this time, I've seen all these things come together, like the Whitechapel story arc. Those who know history know we're talking about Jack the Ripper. I mean, that thing was researched and researched for, I think, 2 years. And even when we were putting down like the final layout for it, I still had ideas just pulsing through my head. I mean, I just went absolutely crazy on that, because the real challenge with that one was trying to get what I wanted to line up with historical facts. So I was kind of going, okay, how are we going to make this work? How are we going to do this? We got to keep this to historical facts, but we also want to keep it original, so it's not overly predictable for people who know history. Yep.
Cool deal, man. Yeah, no, thanks so much, Peter. And yeah, we'll go to Joe. Hey, Joe, how's it going, man?
It's all right. How are you?
Doing all right. Yeah,
congrats
it's great to have
on
you.
Yeah, no problem. Congrats on passing. I think you passed 100 subs fairly recently, right?
Yeah, I did. I think it was like 2 days ago. So,
yeah,
thank you so much. It's
no problem.
Really excited about that, and it's great because just launched it like a month and a half ago. So hopefully, if we keep this up, it'll just keep growing, and that would be the that would be the goal.
Yeah, that'd be great. But yeah, I'm Joe Corallo. I've been, I really tried starting with breaking into comics about 10 years ago, about 2011. I had my first published short in an anthology in 2014, Geeks Out Present Power. I've been published in a few other anthologies. I've edited some anthologies. I edited the Eisner-nominated Ringo Award-winning Mine anthology, and that came out end of 2017. I was a co-creator and writer on Vault Comics' She Said Destroy. I currently am writing, well, I pretty much finished Beckstar, which is coming out in May from Mad Cave Studios. I edited Kim and Kim at Black Mass Studios, Lost on Planet Earth at Comixology Originals. I have a few other things coming out soon. I have a short in the Yule anthology, which I think is going to be on Kickstarter like next month. I had a short in Pat Shan's Destiny Volume 4. Destiny New York Volume 4, which should be shipping out to backers soon. That was successfully funded end of last year. And I have some unannounced stuff that I'm going to be working on tonight. But yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thanks again for being here. And
no
you got your hands in a little bit of everything. It's seems like a lot of different stories, and I'm sure that's really great for the creative process, and you just digging into different genres and things, and really that's really cool, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of reading comics. I went through the Kree Skrull War earlier today. Working through Simonson's Thor, on top of just everything else. I try to read other indie comics. I should be getting, I think there's a couple of things from Kickstarter I should be getting in the mail soon, other things. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my Common America Volume 3, which I supported on Kickstarter. I'm hoping they ship it out this week, like they keep saying they will. I saw I backed was it Scent of Rain from my buddy Marco Stack, but he sent out the pictures that they sent them out in the mail, I guess end of last week, so I should be getting that any day. I'm anxiously waiting for Mike Grell's John Sable Absolute Edition he kickstarted, because that's a favorite of mine. I really like Mike Grell in general, but John Sable is just one of my favorite comics from him. So we'll see. That was supposed to get printed this month. Judging by what day it is, I doubt that's going to happen. But I don't mind waiting on that. So,
yeah. All right. Next up, who we have here?
Herwinberg, how are you, Nandor?
Doing all right. All right. Yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm Herwinberg from Pittsburgh, PA, and we know each other a little, I guess. So I've been a writer all my life. I guess high school I did creative writing, school newspaper, college I did a lot of technical writing and radio broadcast writing. For 20 years I wrote music and entertainment journalism articles for the daily papers here. And then all of a sudden comics. So 4 years ago I started producing live action videos of superheroines, using all actresses from Pittsburgh. So I taught myself screenwriting, and then 2 years ago decided to also turn it into a comic series as well, which makes a lot of sense. It's backwards. Usually it goes the other way around. And I started teaching myself to write comic scripts. And everybody involved in both the live action and comic series are from Pittsburgh, the artists, the actors, camera people, everything. So my background kind of, go ahead.
Oh no, it's just like, wow, that's really cool that, it's like all like you said, everyone from Pittsburgh and like local, people in your city all working together. That's pretty sweet. Yeah,
it's even printed here too. And my background is kind of in 70s and 80s TV shows and movies. You have a Star Wars #1 behind you, and that was the first book I ever bought. So there you go. That'll tell you exactly how old I am, pretty much. And,
Are you talking about like the Marvel Comics adaptations or something?
Yeah, the one with the Carmine Infantino art, I guess, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually got like they're branded under Dark Horse. I've actually got like the movie adaptations from back in the 90s when they released them in trade paperback. They were my first graphic novels, and you can actually tell because they are in the worst condition compared to everything else on the shelf. But yeah, I've got those actually. And I even recall the library. It was such a fascinating world because the library had like other of the Marvel comics, but of course they were doing them kind of as they came out. So they had no idea what Empire Strikes Back was going to be. So they had to make up their own stories. And there's like all this interesting stuff that's contradictive now. Like they had, like before they had the kyber crystals, the lightsabers were a different color based on the Force wielder that had them. So like Vader could grab Obi-Wan's lightsaber and it would turn red.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just sort of this interesting. They even had their own version of Jabba the Hutt before he was officially introduced. So it's sort of this interesting world of, you know, stuff that never quite happened.
Yeah, it's also it's like an early version of Extended Universe, and it's actually dovetails with you know, things like Splinter in the Mind's Eye, which came out you know, right after the Alan Dean Foster classic came out right after the first movie, and then that was really never adapted into anything either. That could have been a movie all. So yeah, so I just happened to mention that the Star Wars #1 was behind you. It was the first thing I ever bought, but as far as early comics, I was very much into the black and white explosion and stuff like Love and Rockets and Cerebus, and also many of the indies in the 80s like First and Kamiko, Pacific, Eclipse. So I kind of left comics for a long time and was into music instead. And then I got back into it a few years ago and discovered modern classics like, say, Invincible, and also books like Noble Causes and Empowered. So that kind of got me back into and a lot of them had superheroines, you know, similar to the ones I'd been watching in the 70s, like Linda Carter and Lindsay Wagner, etc. So I got back into that and focused on the superheroine element of it. So we have Herwenberg has currently 19 full-length episodes. They're basically TV shows. They're downloads, and people download them from all over the world. And we have 2 comics out, issues 1 and 2, that are available in 120 stores that I personally telemarketed to those stores. No diamond. It's all one-on-one, including one in Nandor's area, the Antiquarium.
Yeah,
And,
actually, just real quick on that, I saw them in the store the other day when I visited, and I was like, hey, I know that guy. That's so cool.
Yeah. Lance is a great dude. So, and hopefully the TV show that is now just available as downloads will very soon be part of a brand new streaming service that is coming out of Canada, Toronto. I can't say a whole lot more about it right now, but I'm in discussion with the guy launching that. So that could be very interesting. As far as what I'm working on coming up immediately, I'm working on the script for episode 20. We're doing our first shoot on April 7th. And I'm also working on the script for issue 3. Otherwise than that, I'm just kind of here to learn from all the writers, because, I mean, I've done many different types of writing, but, you know, comic writing is fairly new to me compared to some of the other people here. So, you know, I'm happy to learn, and I'm also waiting for Common America Volume 3 as well.
Oh, yeah. I still got to read the second volume, but I actually read the first volume in like one night. And these volumes are like maybe 60 pages or something.
Yeah, I have 1 and 2. They're really good.
Yeah, I still got to read again. I still have to read volume 2, but I was just so into it, and I read like 30 pages and put it down for a moment and said, "Okay, let's just read the rest." And yeah,
those are the best. Those are the best stories.
Well, the other thing is actually the second volume even came with this very nice patch, which I'm trying to figure out what to do with it, which says like National Waifu Association.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of going, do I want to have National Waifu Association on my bag where everybody can see it? I mean, Common is not my waifu. I can name at least 3 other characters that would be my waifu. But
I think it would look good on a denim jacket, though, possibly.
yeah, but do you want to go wearing that out in public?
Who knows?
But yeah.
Where'd Nandor go? Nandor, you all right there?
I think he ran into some lag.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah. Should we? Should I? Oh, there. Oh, wait. Okay.
We hijacked the stream.
Could we hear from 47
We have hijacked Nandor's stream. That's
okay.
wild. That's wild. Yeah. I can go ahead and pick up, guys. W.S. Quinton, aka Sam Quinton, and I own Sinopa Publishing here in Frankfort, Kentucky, which has been in operation since 2017. Which is a little one-man publishing operation that I run, where I produce role-playing game books and now comics as well. Our debut comic, 47 Furious Tales, is based on the history of the Eiko incident of 18th century Japan, the 47 Ronin story. And we're telling it with anthropomorphic animal characters, squirrels and monkeys, foxes, rabbits, etc. So it's been pretty interesting. We crowdfund all of our projects to make sure that we're paying our artists fair and ethical wages, real money, none of the freeze to death on exposure crap. And let's see, it's so far since 2017, I think I've had 13 or 14 successful Kickstarter campaigns so far.
Oh, yeah.
I've got I'm working on finishing up the fulfillment for 47. I had actually, of all the things to slow stuff down, I opened one of the cases of top loaders, and half of my 11 by 17 top loaders in that package were broken.
Oh.
So I have big 11 by 17s that are shipping out to these last 6 backers, and so I'm waiting on my other shipment of top loaders. I went out to the nearest comic shops to me this weekend, and none of them had any in stock, or any bags and boards for that matter. So that was exciting. So straight to Amazon. I started writing as a teen in the 80s, so date myself as well. I remember when the comic book adaptation of New Hope hit the comic book stores, because I was in them when they came. About 2 weeks after I saw it in the theater, and the second week it was in its first run. I read Splinter of the Mind's Eye actually a month after it released, and it's still a damn shame that we don't get to see the whole thing with the giant crystal that augments force powers. If you haven't read Splinter of the Mind's Eye, it's pretty good actually. Not canon at all anymore, but it's really, really good.
Yeah.
What's Splinter of Minds that's non-canon? Is that Star Wars?
Yeah, Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
Yeah, Disney. The funny thing with Disney is they said, well, we're making everything other than this stuff non-canon. And they kind of acted like we're going to make some better stuff. And now they're trying to cherry pick stuff to make it again.
There's some things in Splinter of the Mind's Eye that don't fit the overall story anyway. Mm-hmm. Some relationship issues, we'll go ahead and put it like that, so that we don't give anyone the creeps. Just take that in mind if you pick up Splinter of the Mind's Eye. It's a really great book, and if you had only seen New Hope and nothing further, then it fits really, really well. But obviously no one let him read any scripts that were coming for anything after that. So there we go. The
Kyber crystals, the Kyber crystal idea is based on that book.
What came out, Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
Yeah.
We'll see. The 15th of this month, I was at the Kubert School doing a Q&A with my principal artist on my comic series, talking about crowdfunding and things like that. Tonight, I am working on a contract that I have to finish drafting up between myself and a whole horde of artists for a collaborative project we're launching in April that is basically done. I'm just formatting the artist bios in. It is titled Dungeons and Dames, and it is a collection of pinup art done by various artists in various different styles, featuring fantasy-themed female characters that you might see in your traditional role-playing games like D&D or Amber or things like that. So That's coming next, along with in about 10 days, we'll be going live with an Indiegogo to offer issue 1 and 2 to the Indiegogo crowd, which will be a nice first for us. Since it's all done, as you can see, like the stack of boxes behind me, and copies laying around everywhere. By the way, this is a cover by Fernando Ruiz. We were lucky enough to get him to do one of the variants for that, so that was pretty nifty to get someone with such a deep history in comics to be able to get on board for it.
Yeah.
Mostly hire folks who have graduated from the Kubert School, and that's just kind of the way things fell out from how my connections basically started with comic artists. One of my dear friends is a graduate of the Kubert School. I've known him since he was 12. And so he's done a lot of work for me in role-playing game books. And many of the people who he referred to me, they've worked on RPG illustrations for me as well. And now we're doing comics. So 47 Furious Tales is a 12-issue miniseries. We're going to be bringing issue 3 to Kickstarter probably in September or October, so long as it's actually completely done by then. We have a new project that I am starting with artist Nick Capone that we'll be bringing as well to the world in January of next year. Light novel that should be done and ready for publication in July. And then the 4th adventure in the Tarot Adventure series next year, as well as a role-playing book for featuring werewolves of various different sizes and the people who hunt them. So it should be a very busy next 20 months.
Yeah, I would say so.
Interesting thing on the Joe Kubert School. I've actually, let's see, which one is this? Oh, this is actually the Story Graphics one. I'm actually doing a little correspondence course, sort of a free time thing for that. And I got 3 textbooks here for Story Graphics, Heroes, and Villains. So that's kind of an interesting thing. You mentioned the Joe Kubert School right now.
Yeah, it's been really neat to get to spend some time with people who work there, to interact with staff. We're actually going to, myself and then also Alexia Veldhausen, who's my principal artist on 47. We're going to be doing portfolio reviews this year for the 3rd year outgoing graduates. So that should be pretty nifty. The big questions, of course, everyone had was on crowdfunding, which the biggest questions were how do we get funded, but the real questions that we also pointed out were how do you get your fulfillment done, how do you get your materials printed, where can you get them printed, things like that. The use of contracts versus not using contracts, because there's as a writer who can't draw anything at all. I mean, I I can draw like a diagram for a traffic accident, and that's about it. Here's a box, this is the road, these are the numbers, here's where this guy is, here's the body, here's the severed head, there we go. But yeah, beyond that, everything else is basically beyond me. So being able to hire and commission talented people to put their skills into practice and to create some really, really cool things has been a real pleasure for me. Now, honestly, there are days that I would just say, I'd give my left arm if I could draw as well as these people too, because I only need one. But I'll tell you,
well, that's not technically true. You need one arm to draw and one hand to use as reference.
Well, I can use a mirror.
Bill Loebs does just fine.
Bill Messner-Loebs. I watched Bill Messner-Loebs stayed in my house for 3 days.
Right.
And I watched him draw with one hand. Yeah. So it's tough, but he did it.
like Pokemon with one hand. I used to do that. Used to play the Pokemon games on Game Boy with one finger.
Or you go the other way, and Kubert would sometimes have like a brush and a pen in every single finger, and
then just pick them out from there as he goes through. Yeah, I've seen video clips of that. That's pretty cool.
It's pretty crazy.
But yeah, it's been interesting to be able to make a difference in artists' lives, to bring stuff I envision into print. because it's been a lot of books in just a very short time. Because we're talking, first book came out in June 2017. That was Tale of the Wizard's Eye, and then that was followed up by The Draw of Glenfollow, which was the first of the Tarot Adventure series. Comet over Echo Rock, which is the second. Steel Road, which is a D&D weapon source book that we did. Whispers of Persephone, which is banned in the United Arab Emirates. I actually got banned in the country for that one, which is a book on necromancy for role-playing games.
Okay.
What's wrong with that?
Is that why? Like necromancy? Is that
why? I think the actual reason was we used reference material from pre-Renaissance sources, from different books on the practice of necromancy, and so a lot of the symbology symbols are reproductions. And then some of the rituals that are described are actually from various heretical sects around Europe primarily, and then some in Northern Africa. So there's some things in there that are pretty graphic and pretty terrible. And then, of course, there's two versions of that cover. One's just black with the title lettering in this vaporous kind of apparition kind of format. And then the other looks like flailed skin, and the spine of the book is illustrated as a spine. So, like backbone spine, with, tendons and ligaments flayed out. And it makes a definite impact on the shelf. So
yeah.
we're like, what is this? And then you open it up and like, why did the middle of the pages and the bleeds, why does it look like there's blood in the middle of the book? Because we made it that way.
Yeah.
So
full immersion.
yeah. We actually started with blood red text, and it just didn't print well. So we went to black and put blood splatters on the pages and made them look like a faux parchment. So it came out really, some would say icky, others would say interesting.
I can sort of see why that could get banned.
Some places won't carry it, and that's fine. But it does pretty well for us. And then a couple of omnibuses. The third one should be out in a couple of months once I finish editing. The list goes on and on and on. It's been a really busy 4 years.
Yeah. No, that's really also encouraging, because it's like you're a writer and you're doing all these things, and you have so much on your plate, and you're being super productive.
Single dad with a day job and doing this at night too. So
wow. Yeah.
And my daughter lives here with me, so it keeps you hopping. So wow. But I mean, I think it's just a matter of trying to manage your time without going insane. I failed at that, so I've definitely gone a little batty in some areas. Hence the book on necromancy, I guess. Interesting fun fact about that: my artist actually complained about having nightmares about 2 weeks into working on the illustrations, and that persisted all the way through the project until he was done with the last of the illustrations.
Get him to watch horror movies; that'll fix it.
Yeah. He's really great, though. I have the utmost respect for him. Love working with him. Absolutely amazing artist. But yeah, it's been really cool also to see people who come to Kickstarter and like, oh, hey, Sam's launching something. Let's go check out what he's doing. It's just nice to know that people are comfortable with the turnaround time and the work we're putting into it.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of feedback too, because they see the same artists keep coming back for projects, and I think the big thing is, one, they're paid. They're paid.
Right.
Gotta pay your artists, guys. Which I realize seems weird to harp on, but there's been like a lot of posts coming across my social media lately about how do I get artists to work for me cheaply, and do artists need to get paid? And I'm like, yes, they do, and they need to get paid, and you need to pay them fair wages, or else you don't have artists anymore. Because
actually, has anybody heard of Pat Lee from Dreamwave?
The name sounds familiar, but I couldn't.
Oh, the guy's a crook. I mean, Dreamwave was, of course, known for doing Transformers at hers comics, like The War Within. And Pat Lee was using company assets. Well, first of all, there's a number of issues with him. He was criticized initially for having drawn his Transformers characters with sort of roundish roundish proportions and elongated, exaggerated bits. And he, of course, responded to that by making it an in-house style, forcing other artists to draw like that. And then he had a bunch of artists who were working for him that he either didn't pay or only paid part way, including Alex Moline, who did this lovely artwork of the Dinobots up on my wall right now. And he used company assets to buy like a 2-story apartment, pay for his girlfriend's beauty pageants, and Dreamwave went under her because of all the money they were losing. And so many artists that worked for Pat Lee didn't get any money whatsoever. I mean, it's this real tragic story that you can look up. And that is like the quintessential example. Yes, you need to pay your artists, and yes, you need to manage your business properly.
Definitely. The other thing too I see is like I'm doing a consultation here in a little while with a buddy of mine who's going to be launching his first Kickstarter campaign on the zine that he's doing later this year. And the thing that keeps coming up, and this came up in some of my previous consults with some folks who were looking at putting out comics, is that they were like, well, I'm going to print like 100 copies. And so I only need this. I'm like, okay, if you're going to print 100 copies, you're not going to have anything to make your money on. I'm like, well, I'll make money on the Kickstarter. I'm like, no, you won't. You know, you don't make your money on the Kickstarter. You make your money on, the product that you're developing. Yeah. So like my first comic, I made that my first issue 1, the first printing, I made that mistake. I only printed 500 copies. That was a big mistake because, as you know, even just the one-man publishing guy here, running out of copies of your book is horrible as a publisher. So we ran out, and so I went back to my artist. I commissioned a new cover for a new print run and printed 3,000 copies. And I'm really glad I did. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I haven't sold all of them yet because we're not in time, and we're selling direct to stores and direct to people and use them for Kickstarter rewards and stuff like that. But the thing about it is that having that and being able to supply that to shops, say, hey, we need some copies of issue 1, no problem. Being able to get those out, quick turnaround time, and make that deliverable really left a good impression with the stores who've been carrying us. And so when issue 2 came out, like I said, we're finishing up fulfillment on that now. I just shipped about 500 copies in the last 2 weeks for Kickstarter fulfillment and to the supporting stores and stuff like that. And I got another 28, I think, to ship for Kickstarter fulfillment to be done. So not a whole lot, just 6 people who have like, full 4-packs and 5-packs and stuff like that. But for issue 2, I ordered 1,500 copies of each of the covers. Okay, so 4,500 copies, and just shipping those out. I mean, it's a big risk, like any business is, but I mean, you've got to have that on hand. And the advantage, of course, is that economy of scale that I've been trying to tell these others about. Because at 100 prints, 100 copies, you're going to pay, maybe as much as $5 a book, depending on who you got printing it. But when I can get stuff printed with, 80-pound interior pages with a nice finish and 130-pound covers with, specialty finishes on it, and pay less than 80 cents a copy, including shipping and taxes and everything, I mean, that lets me put it on the store shelves with a 50% margin, if they're ordering 15 books or more. And having, that and then the RPG stuff and being able to ship that all together has been a real boon as far as being able to make good relations with the shops who've been carrying us so far.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's it's a good problem to have, I guess, right? I mean, because people are wanting your stuff, and
I would like to have some of my storage space back.
Yeah.
I've got about 2,000 boxes with about 2,000 comics still sitting in my living room because I haven't lugged them up the stairs into this office yet. But I've got to do that a little bit at a time so I don't trip over my little one or fall down a flight of stairs and break my neck.
These aren't going to get shipped out if you do that, right?
Right. I mean, not going to ship themselves. But I mean, for me, it works better. I like being able to control the quality of the material before it goes out to the people who are receiving it. And, I know there's a lot of great print on demand companies that do a great job. I want to be able to see the product and make sure that the best things are going out to folks. So a little bit of a control freak, I guess.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, and I get that, and having to, I don't like honestly, I don't know how you keep track of all that. That seems such a big responsibility to manage all of that product, and I can only imagine. I haven't got up to those numbers yet with my books, but
this is the largest shipment I've received to date. So I mean, it's just now hit that. And like I said, we shipped out about 500 books in total in the last 2 weeks. And then I've got 40, I think I'm shipping to one of our stores between the RPG stuff and the comics, and then 20 something to another store who's been a great supporter down in Florida. They've got a bunch of prints and stuff that are also waiting on top loaders to get here so I can pack those up and ship them. So, yeah, which is a really, really nice way to dual purpose stuff. Like give you an idea. That's one of the 11 by 17s that we did. We did one for each of the covers, and the thing about these is we do these on the same high quality paper we use for the books. So when you look at that, that's whereas a poster would just kind of fold in half. I mean, this is so the guys who are getting them, they like the fact that it's something that they can really put out there that's built to last. And so some of the shops are putting them for $20, $25, $15, depending on what their local market is, and we can get it to them there well below that. So it helps the comic shops, and anytime that our product makes a comic shop money, that's just helping us get future orders,
Yeah. Definitely. Good deal. So, sweet. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks you guys so much for introducing yourselves and sharing what you're working on, and I really appreciate that. And right now, let's get to some comments. I see this was an early one, but Philip Russert, he's another writer, says, hey, sorry I didn't make it. I do want to though. Phil, if you're still watching, or if we're still on and you want to come back in, I have the link pinned, the pinned post on the YouTube upload there. And also, I joined the link. I sent you a link there. And then we have Learner Bear, says evening. Hey, Learner Bear. Hope you've been tuning in and staying with us. I know he's showed up on a couple of the streams that Anthony and I have done, the Artists for Seasons, and I've been really interested in writing. So if anyone has, any questions, I'm talking to people that are watching, but also any of you guys here that are participating, definitely ask around. And if there's anything that you're working on that, you need help with, or that you think, you want to kind of toss around or bounce off ideas off one another, I think that'd be super cool too. I really want this to be a place where it feels like a real writer's room that you would go into in your, local city, and you could hang out and share with what you're working on. And I know as like personally for me too, I don't like sharing things until they're finished, because because it's just like I can't do it. Like it's just not in I just do not have the ability to do that, because I need it to be right. So I totally understand that, as someone who's like that. So don't feel like you have to show anything, of course. But if, you're working on something, and, I'm going to be so vague, when I talk about what I'm working on and like what's going on through my head, because it's a lot to process. And I take a long time to write when it comes to kind of hashing out ideas and, messing around with them, playing around with them enough to where I, build them up to break them down and, kind of get it to where I want it. So, I feel bad because I said I was going to start with me, but we started with Evan, and like I put it to Evan to be like, hey, let's like you start this off, and I didn't even say what I was working on, but I wanted to so yeah, I'm Nandor, and tonight well I've been working on writing comics since I was around 17, 18 years old. I got out of high school, and I just knew that's what I wanted to do. And I had dabbled in maybe doing journalism, or I would write blogs and things like that. But I wanted to write my own stories and make my own stuff. And so I printed, well, I started working on seasons when I was 18, and launched a Kickstarter for Volume 1. It's right here. This bad boy right here. And launched the Kickstarter in 2017. Got it printed, and then I have 2 graphic novels printed right now. Seasons Volume 2 is going to be coming out in a couple months. So that'll be my 3rd book, and I'm really excited about that because Anthony and I, the artist for Seasons, Anthony Gonzalez Clark, we've been working on that for a couple of years, and each book's over 100 pages, so it's a lot of work. Yeah. And it's a lot of time, a lot of energy, and so I've been trying to think of ways to speed that up, because it's about budgeting, it's about finding the right time, making sure the quality's right, and all that stuff. So it's been a process, but it's been really rewarding in the end, and I'm really excited for Volume 2 to get here. But tonight I'm going to be working on my new project that is called Man-Child, and it's a limited series that I'm going to be launching the first issue for on Kickstarter this summer. And I have let's see here. I have a preview page for it right there. So I have a pre-launch page, for Man-Child issue 1. And it's going to be really an homage to Silver Age comics and the work of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and also going to be dabbling into themes of what it means to be a comic book fan in the present day, or a pop culture fan in the present day, and kind of how it's changed over the years, and what it means to what it means to be a hero, and how that's changed over the years, and kind of deconstructing that idea of heroism and inspiration and all that. So, but I'm really excited about this project. I've been working with an artist, fabulous man, Jay Mazar, and he's been getting pages done. He's penciling, inking, and coloring the work. He's a great collaborator, and it's the most superhero thing that I've written. And so I'm in the process of finishing the series right now, and so I've been writing that and working on that, and that's really probably for a majority of these streams what I'm going to be working on, because I've been wanting to finish it and get it done, and get as much done as possible. So but yeah, I wanted to share that with everyone, and I'm really excited to do that. I'm going to be working on like some character designs for some characters, and just writing down ideas for some of the issues where I want to take some of the characters, and kind of just hashing it out here, and writing notes down. I have my notebook with me, and that's really where I do most of my writing. I usually carry a notebook everywhere I go, and just write down ideas. And kind of another reason, and these streams won't always be on Sundays, but kind of a reason why I wanted to do it on a Sunday was, like typically Sundays are, your days off, or like the day of rest or whatever. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, for creative people, and for writers and artists, and people that are wanting to, break into the industry and really, do this full time, it's like you really never have a day off. It's like you're always working, and you're always working on something, and you can't shut that part of your brain off. It's like if an idea hits you, or if you're, just really in the middle of a scene, or trying to develop a character, or just working on your own project. It's like you just it never turns off for me, at least. So I thought, let's do this. Let's kick this off on a Sunday, and it's like it's the weekend where usually you would be gearing up for Monday, and it's like for creative people, it's like every day is a work day, really, when it comes down to it. And that's always been a balance in trying to figure out how to balance that out, and not, like you said, Sam, like go crazy, and like just keep thinking about it over and over, and all that, and kind of overworking yourself can definitely be an issue.
Definitely.
Well, for me, actually, my brain does tend to sort of get settled. Like I mentioned, I have a whole bunch of story ideas for Kawa. Well, I generally kind of just put them down as sort of vague ideas, like, okay, this is this story arc, and we want these things to happen, and I don't go back and worry about the details until it's time to like deliver that. Like, we need to write the script and have it out there, and that's sort of when I will go into sort of writer's mode and sort of break it down. And the thing is, they don't always come to me until it's really officially time to start thinking about it and really get it out there. And sometimes I'll just have like a whole idea and have everything just blast in on me. Like the Japanese arc I'm working on right now. I had notes and I said, okay, this is what we want to do for this arc. Now, how do we link this? How does this event translate to this event? How does, this go that way? And most of that doesn't really come until it's officially time to start writing the script. And then you just start thinking about it, and then it all just comes out. And the other thing is, I'm always trying to also give myself a couple of days off. Like maybe one day I'll just play video games or just read something, just so I don't get overwhelmed. Because it's also, I mean, the drawing process and the layout is also something to take in mind. For me personally, when I started seeing how the comic industry online is sort of going to like one panels, kind of like what you see on webtoons, I wanted to beat that. So I'm always trying to lay out my pages so the entire page is involved. You can't just cut out one panel and that's it. So I'll have dialogue like leeching from one side to the other, and trying to get the whole page going. So I do try to give myself a couple of days off just to regenerate.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like that's really smart. I mean, you don't want to burn yourself off, out, and that's definitely a potential that I've ran into multitude of times, and I'm sure everyone else here has too, where it's like you just can't get yourself to do it. And with me, and I'm sure I don't know where everyone is with this, but working, I know you said, Peter, that you started a full-time job. It's like working a full-time job for me too, and then coming home and trying to write or trying to create, feeling like you have to put in it would end up feeling like it would be a 12 or 15-hour shift, depending on like how long you would write after your 8 hours at a regular job.
Well, the other
it's just like I was just gonna say, it's because I feel like there's so little time to actually get writing done, and the fact that when I come home and I want to write, like that's something I really want to do. So it's just even more work. And so there's even more of a possibility and a potential to get stunted and not feel like you're getting anywhere, because you're just kind of burnt out, or you're tired and your mind's not really where it needs to be at the end of the day.
Well, and the other thing also that I care about is quality. And I really wouldn't have picked up on any of this if I had only been working on Kawa. Because before I really had my own website, I was publishing on Smack Jeeves. And Kawa is a much longer story, so I make a little more effort to get that going. And there was a time, this was sort of what I consider my dark period. There was a time where, we got somebody else in the chat right now. There was a time where I said, okay, we're going to get 3 pages of Kawa up per week, and I can get a page done in like 2 days. But working a job and then working that, and I can really see it, I was just like pushing it out, and there were several things that were looking sloppy. The mid chapters even looked a little bit worse than like my early chapters. And what kind of woke me up to this a bit was Amber is sort of done on a non-regular schedule. Yeah. So that's always had a little bit more time to grow. And I started to notice that the quality of Amber was looking better than Kawa. And I said, okay, what's going on here? Well, I have more time to work on Amber than Kawa. So I just sort of, and then of course, Smack Jeeves completely changed up their motif here. They went to those one panel ones. So I quit that and I said, okay, you know what? I really want to do good quality here. And if I'm drawing something that I'm not rehearsed for, we got to work some of that in. So now I try to get, maybe 2 pages out at least a week. And I try to give myself some time to rest, walk away, and not burn myself out. And it has really made a difference in quality because I do want to be able to sell this stuff, but nobody's gonna buy something that looks terrible. I mean, even comics with some subpar storylines can still work well with artwork. I've got a couple of comics where I say, I don't think the story is groundbreaking, but I love the artwork. So I'm always trying to make sure everything, story and art, is as good as I can do it in the time. Now, at the same time, what I also do is provide myself a window of opportunity. You got so many pages to come out, you can't really sit there and fuss so much about the quality, about the quality, and spend like 7 days trying to touch it. So I say, okay, we have this time period to get this done. Do the best you can in that hat, and if there's anything you maybe pick on up later, you can go back and change that before publication. Yeah. So that's sort of my whole method of working. And of course, the more you do it, the better you get. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm at a point far beyond what I was when I first started. But anyway, my overall point is, provide yourself with some deadlines, but at the same time, make sure you rest and don't crunch it so much that you really start doing terrible quality. Yeah. And of course, if you're doing something that's going to be new, allow a little bit of time to learn that on the job.
Right. That makes sense. Maybe we can talk about that. Here, I kind of like to get all your guys' thoughts on how do you not burn yourself out, or how do you find time to write or create and do what you're doing? If you have other commitments or other things you're working on, I think that would be something that could be really helpful for people that are watching and people that are wanting to break into this business and create and make comics, and how do you find time to do that? And we can pick that up later, but I wanted Monique's here, and hi Monique, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you? Sorry, I'm tardy.
No, it's okay. I'm doing all right, and thanks for coming on tonight. It's great to have you, and really everyone's kind of just been introducing themselves and talking about how long they've been writing or working on their projects and what they're currently working on. So yeah, definitely introduce yourself and tell us what kind of maybe some of your background or your history with being a comic book writer or a writer just in general, and what we can expect from what you're doing.
Okay. Try to keep it succinct.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Yeah.
My name is Monique Fisher. I've been writing ever since I was 10. I don't want to give away my age, but
you're good.
But I didn't really start doing it seriously until college. I was a theater arts and dance major. My concentration was stage directing and playwriting. And then from there, I kind of tried to jump into television writing. So I took a lot of independent classes around the area. I'm lucky because I'm, Los Angeles born and raised. So there's tons of TV writing or entertainment based things that are around the area. I actually met my writing partner in one of them. It's called Script Anatomy, and it's ran by these really, really awesome ladies named Tanya Bhattacharya, and her and her writing partner Allie. I've taken classes with them and numerous other people who are part of the organization as well. And I actually met my writing partner Natasha there too. From there, I decided that as much as I liked television writing, I kind of it didn't really feel right for some reason. There was something that just felt like it was missing. And this is kind of embarrassing to admit because I've been a comic fan my entire life, and then it suddenly just dawned on me, oh yeah, I could be writing that. So I took classes with Andy Schmidt at Comic Experience, and I really enjoyed that. And then I just kind of fell right in and just started, I just dove right in and just started writing the project that's going to be coming out on Macroverse, which Evan can attest to.
Yeah, that's right.
First episode has the artist, my collaborator, the lovely, brilliant Jackie Smith, has finished the art for the very first episode. So we're going to be launching that hopefully sometime next month, fingers crossed. It's called
Sweet.
Susan King. And honestly, I was in the middle of writing it when the Black Lives Matter movement started. And then a lot of gatekeepers within publishing and within a lot of other organizations said, hey, we need to listen to Black voices. So if you're Black, send me your stuff. So from there, I was lucky enough to take a class. I'm forgetting the name of it. I'm sorry, it's been a really long day.
No, it's totally cool. Yeah.
Lit Reactor with Alex Segura, who's awesome and who I count as one of my mentors. He's a really, really wonderful man. Yeah. I took his class, which was great because he offered it to me for free. And I ended up polishing Susan Keem in his class and got a lot of great feedback from classmates as well as from him. And then through my friend Carrie, I met the lovely ladies at Hex Comics, Lindley and Kelly Sue. And I told them about Susan Keem, and they said, let's introduce you to Evan. And I was like, okay, great. So they introduced me to Evan. I sent him a pitch. He and I talked on the phone and pretty much just geeked out on how much we like comics. And then unfortunately, my previous artist had to drop out, and I was panicking about what we were going to do. And I put out the bat signal, so to speak, and Jackie responded, and she's been on board ever since. And just to give you like a brief rundown about Susan Keem, it's basically Opposites Attract. It's crime, action, romance, but the basic story is about the love and devotion that these two people have for one another. She comes from a very rich, upscale, well-to-do background, and he is an ex-con. The two of them basically team up together, business and personally, and there are a lot of people around them who want to take them down. And they are basically the epitome of the phrase "ride or die." So they're incredibly loyal to one another, and anybody who basically tries to take either one of them down or take both of them down learns very quickly that that's a very big mistake.
Yeah, I will vouch for it being a very cool series. We're excited about it. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't wait to read it. I'm really excited to check it out.
Yeah, it delves into a lot of stuff that is on par with the Black experience, like police brutality, gentrification, things of that nature. And it's also kind of a love letter to LA. Like I said, I was born and raised here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that mention like Leimert Park, Ladera Heights, neighborhoods that have a strong Black presence in them. So there's a lot of that in there too. So there's a lot of stuff that's universal that a lot of people will enjoy, and there's a lot of stuff that's specific to the Black experience that I think African Americans will enjoy, and other people will enjoy as well, because it'll be something that they're learning about that they may not know about. So
yeah,
I'm really excited for a lot of people. I'm excited for so many people to read it. And the reason why I'm late actually is because I was on Discord with the lovely ladies of the BFCC. Our organization is Black Female Comics Collab, and we're working on an anthology series where all of the protagonists, I should say, are Black females with immense power. So each person, we have about 5 writers, and I forget how many artists we have. I think we have about 6 artists, but we're trying to recruit more.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to make sure that everybody has a job. Like, okay, you're doing balloons and lettering, you're doing you're doing colors, you're doing that.
Yeah.
So we found out early that we're going to need a lot more people. So we're trying to recruit more people to be part of our team. And once we have some preliminary arts and some stuff to show, we're going to present it to the ladies at Hex Comics, because we asked them if they would like to be part of it. By basically, it's going to be basically Hex Comics presents, and then whatever the title of the anthology ends up being, we're still out. So
cool.
Aside from that, I'm also working on some graphic novels with my friend Natasha. This is in the very, very, very beginning stages, but basically we're working on something that I guess can best be described as Game of Thrones, but with Black people. So
well, just don't make it exactly like Game of Thrones, where it's so good, and then you
no,
throw
we're not
everybody off at the end.
Okay, fingers crossed that this actually does get like picked up by HBO or Netflix or something. We plan on having everything finished that way. The people who make it don't have to like guess how to end it.
I know, right?
Nice.
I felt like that it ended. It's like, okay, well, George isn't finished with the book, so let's just kind of guess how we should end this.
Throw darts. Just throw darts.
Yeah.
Pin up your alternate endings on the wall and just throw it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, Bran. Okay. Yep.
Who are some of the other writers that are working on that project you're talking about?
Oh, let's see. It's Allison Whitmore, Bree Norris, myself, and Natasha Hall.
Okay.
We're the only one who actually has published anything comic related is Allison. She's published a series called Love University.
Okay.
And I have not read it as of yet, but it's definitely on my to-do list. I have to read it. She's a good friend of mine, so I definitely have to read it.
I'll tell you, there's a comic writer who I'm incredibly impressed by. His name is Brian Hawkins, and the first thing I ever read of his was titled Cornrows. And it's a wonderful, wonderful comic. I can't wait till he gets issue 2 out. He's done a lot of work for Mad Cave lately.
Nice.
So if you get a chance, Brian Hawkins.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I'll keep that in mind. Aside from all the other stuff that BFCC, Susan Keem, the stuff that me and Natasha are working on, because we're actually working on 3 projects aside from the Black Game of Thrones one. We're working on 2 other ones too.
Nice.
I also write romance novels too. So stuff that's kind of in the vein of Mia Sosa or Jasmine Guillory or Mimi Grace, people like that. Not comics or graphic novels, just actual manuscripts. So I'm reading a lot of stuff by people whose work I guess is kind of comparable to mine. So I have a very long reading list right now. Is basically what I'm saying. But I'm now going to have to add that gentleman to my reading list as well.
Yeah, Brian's pretty good. He's done some really great really great storytelling in a very short amount of time. He's pretty top notch. I'm really impressed by him. I love reading anything that Brian Hawkins writes.
Nice.
Yeah. And I hate to say this, guys, but I've got my guy I'm supposed to be consulting with is pinging me left and right, and I've got an artist who needs a thing wants to know which way I have a character facing, which I thought was in the description. So I need to get going. I'm sorry. So that's the problem when you've got 4 books coming out in the rest of the year. So thanks for having me, guys. Joe, it's good to meet you. Evan, Peter, Herrenberg, Monique. Nandor, thanks for inviting me and having me on, man. Next time I'll try not to overbook myself. So
all right.
Sorry about
thanks
that.
Thanks for coming along.
Yep. Have a good one, guys.
Bye. Thank you for the book recommendation.
Yeah, he's really good. Brian Hawkins is absolutely fantastic comic writer. Absolutely fantastic.
Sweet. So, man, I need to get some writing done, guys. But I'm not getting into no. I wanted to kind of pick up on that question. And we can start with Monique. If you have anything to say, if you don't, that's totally cool. But I'd like to ask kind of everyone, how do you not get burnout when it comes to working on all these different projects and writing and being a creative person? How do you kind of balance your time or kind of space that out in your day to day?
Well, for me, it really helps that I have a supportive partner. My husband's really awesome. So we have 2 kids, 2 very young kids, ages 3 and 5. And our 5-year-old is autistic. So he requires a lot of special attention.
Yeah.
And it can be really, really challenging because my day basically, I work from home. I have a 9 to 5 and I work from home. So my day is basically working from home from 8 to 4:30, and in between that time, stopping what I'm doing to make sure that my kids are okay because they're not in school right now and they're not in daycare right now because of the quarantine.
Yeah.
So I have to stop what I'm doing, feed them breakfast, stop what I'm doing, play with them, stop what I'm doing, watch a little show with them, stop what I'm doing, and it's a lot of stopping and starting throughout the day. And then when my husband gets home, we usually try to take them somewhere. That way they can run around and get all their energy out and then come home and have dinner and then get them in the tub, get their bath done, get them in their PJs. And then he, stays upstairs with them. And while I come downstairs and put my headphones on, listen to my music, and I write. And I typically end up doing that from about 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. And then I go to bed, wake up, and do it all over again. So,
oh my goodness, yeah.
It helps to have somebody who understands what it is, why this is my passion, and why this is my dream, and this is something that I really want to do for the rest of my life. So that's incredibly helpful because on weekends he'll typically take the boys out and just let me have a few hours to myself. That way I can just sit down and read and work and have meetings and take care of whatever it is that I need to in order to make sure that I'm able to sustain what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it's not easy, but it is possible. And I always tell people, get help wherever you can. Don't be embarrassed to ask for help. Nobody does anything alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
My husband is a great help. So I truly appreciate him. So that's pretty much how I do things.
Cool.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll chime in there. I think, I certainly feel this about writing, but I think it applies to all kind of creative enterprise, at least for me. And what I've had to kind of teach myself to do over the course of my career is just when it's time to make stuff, you just have to make stuff. So I've come to a point where it's like I don't actually believe that writer's block exists. Like I actually don't believe that getting burnout exists. Like you just have to clarify like these are times, and Monique spoke to it as well. It's like there are times where it's like I've got 20 minutes right now that I can block out as like something that I'm going to get something done, whether that's writing a paragraph or answering some emails or whatever it is that is designated for that period of time. Like just taking that time and really focusing in on doing that. And sometimes for writing in particular, it's like, you know, it's, you think like, oh, I need to set aside a couple of hours for this. But, you know, if as you know, said, Nandor, you've got stuff kind of, the wheels never stop turning. At least I'm in that same boat too. So it's like, there'll be times where it's like, if I'm just thinking about something over the course of a couple of days or sometimes over a couple of weeks, like those connections will be getting made, you know, in the background even. And so when it does come time to sit down and write it, and like, this is the time that I've got to do it, it's like, I just write. So, you know, it might not be great. Like, the first draft is often not great, but I think, you know, one of my favorite podcasts is a show called Script Notes, which is a couple of professional screenwriters I definitely recommend. It's very craft heavy, but it's fantastic. And, you know, they talk about also, it's like, you know, being a professional writer means you write, like writers write. And so it's like, whether that's having an hour in the morning or an hour at night or 15 minutes at a time, can't think of his name, but there's a very well-known Marvel Comics writer who, you know, is a full-time career as an attorney. And he
Charles Soule.
That's him. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, you know, and like his writing time is on the subway every day. And I've heard a couple of podcasts with him, you know, talking about that. It's like, you know, he didn't want to stop being an attorney, but he also wanted to be a comics writer. And it's the only way it could happen. So you just, you know, you pick those times and you just put in the work. And that, you know, it sounds less complicated than it actually is, but I think that's the critical piece of it for me is, you know, the only way things get done is a little bit at a time, and you just pick those times when you can find them, and, you know, do the work. And then the last thing I'll say is, you know, that I really don't believe in being in getting burned out. I think that's a choice whether you get burned out or not, and it's very, very related to whether or not you're enjoying what you're doing. But I think that, you know, the one thing I have done, and I also have 2 young kids. I have a 7 and a 4-year-old. And, you know, I make sure that there's at least, you know, what I kind of the opposite. I make sure there's at least one full day a week where I'm just completely unplugged. So like, I'm still thinking about stuff. I'm still, you know, like those things are never going to stop, but it's like putting my phone aside, like not answering emails, not looking at, you know, all the stuff that's going on. And like just really focusing in on, you know, not being in the thick of everything that feels like it's going crazy all the time. You know, that's the, you know, and it's actually hard for me because like I'm the kind of person that's like, I want to be working all the time. But, you know, having that kind of forced, you know, day of like not doing anything has made a big difference.
Nice.
Well, you know, the other thing you can always do is, I mean, you can just sort of take little steps at a time. For example, I'm a swimmer. I actually have a pool in my backyard, and it's still a little too cold to use it just yet, although today was kind of questionable. And I'll usually say, okay, well, 8 o'clock is like the moment. So, you know, your moment, you go out there, you do your routine, and you just get exercise and everything. And that's all I really need for a moment, to just sort of break away from the work, and then I could just come back and do it. I could also do things like maybe rearrange a shelf, or maybe just, you know, when I have to do it, just get on the PS4 or something for a brief amount of time. Because sooner or later, even with like the PS4, I'm going to get bored. You can only maintain it for so long. And then I'm just going to come back to what I'm working on, refresh, and then we just take it again. I mean, it's just, you can just do little things to help avoid burnout.
Right.
I've got discrete times of day when I'm most creative. Like Eben was saying, you know, block things out for yourself. I'm most creative in the morning. So I get things done in the morning, and that Charles Soule story was interesting, except for me, instead of the subway, it's the bus, because we have more buses here. So it helps not to have distractions. On the bus, you don't have a lot of distractions. And in the morning, when you're more focused, less distractions. I have another technique other than leaving and doing something else for a few minutes, which is self-deprivation. If you need to get a certain amount of chapters done or script pages, whatever, well, don't eat those chicken wings with the barbecue sauce until you finished it. And then it's your reward, I mean, it's Pavlovian, I guess, a little, but yeah. So, but yeah, most creative when there are the least amounts of distractions, I would say.
Yeah, we've all been talking here about writers, and I'm actually a writer artist, and my problem is I don't have a problem coming up with ideas. Like, I will come up with ideas when I'm working or doing something, which is why I walk around like a zombie half the time, because my brain is just locked on this idea. My biggest problem is actually writing it down, believe it or not. Like, just sitting in front of the computer and writing it down. I will get distracted. I will get bored. And I actually would really love to just have sort of a helmet I can put on and just, have all my ideas just get written into Microsoft Word through that helmet. That would just be so much easier. And really, for me, the only thing that really gets it out is when we're back on the deadline and it just has to come out, and that's when everything starts flowing.
Yeah. I think honestly, a lot of people say, or you kind of get the impression that deadlines are, the bane of your existence as a creator, because it's like, I need more time, or you feel like it's it's such a hurdle, to meet that deadline. But I think in a lot of ways, that helps you in so many ways, because you're like, okay, I have to get it done by then. And so you just push everything else aside, and that gives you focus, that gives you that energy that you wouldn't have normally. Because if you don't have a deadline, that's when you can fall into, just kind of doing in your own thing, and kind of like messing around and be like, well, I'll get this done, this day, or I'll get to that this day. And then it's like, no, man, you don't get to choose. This is the deadline. So I think that can be really helpful. And I know a couple other people who have told me that, and said, and even some artists that I've worked with, like, if I'm thinking about a project that I'm working on, and I it might be, a few months out, or, 6 to 8 months out before we might even reveal anything. In my head, I'm like, hey man, you have this much time to work on this. If you have other projects you're working on, that's cool. But I'll need it done by then. But you have some time. And there's some people that will come back to me and say, like, no man, give me a week or two, because I work better under pressure. And I think that's really interesting. Some people might not, but I think deadlines can be really great.
Well, actually, the guys who make South Park, every episode is a 1 week deadline.
Right.
Yeah, they literally write an episode in like 1 day, and the entire staff works on that episode throughout the week, and they send them in via broadcast, sometimes just within hours of it getting aired. And they say that they feel they get better results when they're under pressure. And the only time they ever missed their deadline was 1 week, and that was just because they had a power outage.
Oh.
Yeah. But I would also just add in, this is just something that I don't know, it helps me, maybe it helps other people. Sleep. And I mean that in the sense of there are plenty of times where, in the past, I might stay up too late because I feel like I need to get something done, but I'm too tired to work effectively. And once it gets to that certain point, you fall asleep, you end up not getting enough sleep, and then you're not able to focus the next day, and you end up losing even more time. So once you realize your body's saying it's had enough for the day, you'll end up getting more work done if you just go to sleep and do the work the next day, rather than try to stay up and do half as good as you normally would have, and then not have the energy to focus and you fix it up the next day.
The other thing is sometimes, and sort of in my case, like I said with Cowell, we're trying to do 100 chapters here, and you know, I'm just sort of cranking them out. Well, one advantage I've discovered in my current position is because we kind of take maybe 2 or 3 months to complete a chapter. Well, first of all, when I'm doing the writing, I mean, we do story arcs, so I like making an entire map of everything that's going to happen, and I do like a 6-chapter synopsis of what's happening in each chapter. So the next part is to just break that down into a script. But then you've essentially got your work made for you, and then all you got to do is just sort of apply it to a script. And the other thing is, given the speed that I move, because it takes a little while to get this done, it gives me more time to prune and ripen my story writing. And that's kind of a secret advantage I've discovered with my particular field of work, Herc, moving this way. So the point is, what I'm trying to get at is you kind of spend maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 days doing nonstop writing, but then you can break for a while because you've already got everything meshed out, and that gives you time to think of the next story.
Right.
Yep.
Cool deal. Yeah. Yeah. For me, and the reason why I brought that question up is I think there's a lot of people, and I think Eben made a really great point. Is like, a lot of people feel like they get burnout, but maybe they're actually not getting burnout, but they're, maybe they don't love what they're working on, or maybe, you know, there's another issue there necessarily where, you know, they're not doing something that they're excited about, and they want to keep, you know, being passionate about. And I think that can be a sign for, you know, you with whatever you're doing, to go, you know, maybe stand back and go like, reevaluate, you know, do I really want this? You know, is this something or something I really believe in? Do I really want to work on this and put all this time into it?
And that's all. And that's really the thing you need with passion. In fact, another noteworthy story is Christopher Nolan, who you all might know from a couple of movies featuring Batman. He initially did not have a third movie planned. He just wanted to do 2. And he said he wasn't too crazy about doing a third one because he was afraid he'd get bored halfway through production and then, you know, not be able to do his best. And then it wasn't until he finally, quote unquote, cracked the secret of a third Batman movie. So that kind of tells you that he really wants to be passionate about what he's working on.
Yeah.
And that's why he was able to make such a good film trilogy, because he had the passion in there to work on it.
Yeah, I mean, and that just goes to show you, you know, like someone like Christopher Nolan, like, you know, I mean, take it from him. Like, if you don't love what you're doing or what, you know, what you're about to work on, because it's like, if it was just about, you know, the fame or the money or whatever, you know, everyone wanted another Nolan Batman film, but you know, did he want another Nolan Batman film? It's like it's kind of up to him. And
but he gave me personally so much fan service in that he actually made a Bane I was happy with, and he cast Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. That was my fan service right there. That was all for me.
Yeah. Cool. No, I think I love that. I love how every one of us has kind of, you know, our own process and our own way of thinking about ways to keep going and not you know, technically get burnout, or at least not feel like you're being overworked, or you're not you know.
And sometimes really it's sort of the passion you have for the characters. For example, you know, one of the reasons I keep working on Calwa is because I love my main character. I love Calwa herself. I absolutely love writing her. And what I really wanted to do, what I strove to work on here with Calwa, is I wanted to make full use of the character. So when I was done with the story, I could put her away and just be happy with it. I want to get as much use out of the character as I can, and before I'm done with her.
Yeah.
And I think it's my love for that character that just keeps me going and keeps me making these stories. And
Right.
at the same time, you know, I look back on how far we've come. I mean, we're up to chapter 23 now, which I think is really an accomplishment for somebody like in our position. And by us, I mean me and my co-writer.
Yeah.
And that's sort of just what keeps me going on this. I mean, I would not keep working on it if I wasn't passionate about it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think all of us would fall in line with that. It's like, you know, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing unless we had this, you know, unquenchable fire when it comes to wanting to, you know, put our stories out there and work on them and share them with everyone. And I love that. I think that's why, you know, why I'm a creative person, and you know, why I want to write stories, and I'm sure why you guys do too. You know, it's like it's just in your DNA, and you have to do it.
Yeah, I have the book Unquenchable Fire right next to me, oddly enough.
Oh, really?
Nice. Well, that worked out. What a coincidence, huh?
Right? It's funny. I'm working on an adaptation of that into a web comic for another job.
Cool.
I wear a lot of hats with all of this because I do it full time, and you kind of have to when that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice. Well, cool. Yeah. I'm so yeah, like, you know, if anyone, you know, has anything they want to bring up, you know, I'm gonna be working on stuff here, and you know, definitely feel free to talk and, you know, mention anything. And like I said, if you guys want to share anything you're working on, just let me know, and you know, I'll put it up on the screen, and we can just kind of work on our stuff. And like like I said, while you're doing your process and while you're doing your thing, if something comes up that you're like, hey, this would be interesting to talk about, or hey, like, you know, I'm having an issue with this, or what do you guys think about this? You know, definitely just throw it out there, and we'll have some fun with that.
Awesome. And actually, sorry guys, on that note, I am going to have to jump off the stream as well. So just as we get started working. But Nandor, this is great, man. I think you should keep this going. And I just have one suggestion, you know, which might be interesting for future kind of writer's room scenario kind of things is, you know, especially if there's a group of us that, you know, want to make this a semi-regular thing, or as more people come onto it, you know, I think bringing up stuff in the middle of working is certainly great, but it also might be nice to have some mechanism for, you know, as we're developing these things, if there's something that's specific to kind of bring to this group,
right?
Maybe there's a way to kind of share that ahead of time, so it's, you know, there's a little context or a little bit of, you know, kind of understanding of what the crux of it is. Maybe totally. A little harder to be like, I'm working on this thing that I'm not really prepared to announce yet. What do you guys think? You know, so just a thought there. I don't quite know what that is, but I think there's probably a way to make this, you know, kind of extremely productive as a, you know, kind of a mind meld. In addition to a cool space to just hang out and work.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for that suggestion. And that's totally, like, guys, if you know, if you have any ideas or, you know, things that you think, you know, we could implement into the series, like, definitely let me know. I'm all ears for that, and I love that.
Cool. Nice to meet all you guys. Monique, good to see you. Nandor, all the rest of season 2, as we're calling it, the rest of spring.
Yeah.
Coming out this week. So my last shameless plug, check out Seasons on Macroverse. It's come out really cool. Like, I'm really happy with how it's all working. So excited for that to be out for the world. And if anybody, you know, has feedback on that, we want to hear it as well. So excited about that. Have a fantastic rest of your Sunday evening, and get some awesome writing done.
That's cool. Yeah, thanks, Evan. Thanks for joining along. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my leave too. Here, I got a couple of things to do before work tomorrow, but this was a lot of fun. and let me know when you're doing some more of these. I actually will be having Sundays off, so Sundays would actually be the best day for me to do more of these.
Gotcha. Cool.
Sundays are good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good deal.
See,
all right. Yeah. Thanks, Peter. Yeah. Thanks for coming along. And yeah, I'll be sure to let everyone know, like when we'll do the next one. And I don't know about next Sunday necessarily because it's Easter, but yeah, we'll definitely, get together. Like I definitely want to do this on a weekly basis. And I think it'd be a great way to keep in touch with everyone. And also, kind of, as I said at the top of the show, is, we can kind of show our progress in a way on a weekly basis and be like, hey, that thing I was working on that I can't talk to you about, well, I got it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's totally cool. But yeah, like I said, guys, just if you need to go, just let me know, and you're all good. And just going to be working on some stuff. And like I said, I'm going to be working on Man-Child, working on some character designs. I have this Marvel encyclopedia that I'm looking at for just some inspiration ideas for different characters and stuff. So I'm going to be flipping through that. But, if you guys have anything you want to talk about, just let me know and just throw it out there, like I said.
Oh, I was actually inspired yesterday by checking out the first 3 episodes of Invincible. As I said, that's one of the comics that got me back into the game in the 2000s. Yeah. And I was just really impressed by how they translated it to the screen and made it just as powerful as it was in the comic. What I enjoy about an aesthetic like that is how classic it is. The storytelling, like no matter how violent it is or not, the storytelling and the characters were just so clear and distinct and relatable. And I think that's really important, that instead of some characters with some on the big two, which some rely on a lot of surface traits or don't really have a lot of depth sometimes, that they're coming up with recently. The stuff in Invincible was really, like I said, really relatable, and each character had a lot of meat on their bones, and that's the kind of thing that is important in telling stories. Is that you have a lot of details and background to hang on the world that you create all the time.
Yeah, I watched those episodes too. Watched all 3 of them. So like 2 nights ago. And I really enjoyed them. And I actually, one of my best friends, he's like, he loves Invincible. Like that's kind of like what got him into comics, and what kind of got him into getting them on a monthly basis, and watched it with him, and he was pretty happy with it too. And it made me want to, I'd always seen it, of course, and I'm always reading so much anyways. There's like never enough time to read everything that you want to. And I was like, dang it, I'm gonna have to put that on my list now and check that out, because I really want to read Invincible now. And I was really happy with the adaptation, and just the quality of it too. It seemed like they put a lot of work into it. And I know Robert Kirkman wrote the first episode, and he did a really good job with that one. That was my favorite one of all 3. But yeah, I like the feel of the world, and it's something that I really want to check into and check out as a full series. And it's also attainable too. It's like you could actually read the entire series instead of feeling like you have to go through 70, 80 years of like character history.
Yes.
Yeah, Kirkman really. I think Kirkman, especially with, I don't want to talk too much industry news because that's not what we're doing here. But especially
right, I gotcha.
With the news of him possibly buying DC or something drastic like that, he could literally become the 21st century Stan Lee. Like he's most qualified to do that, and that would just be an amazing revitalization of the medium, because we've gone through a generation where kids basically don't read comics. They basically do and don't. And it's efforts like that which would really bring bring interest back across a wide spectrum, as opposed to making it something that is just too nichey for most people to enjoy.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, we're talking specifically about the superhero game, but there's been a generation that moved away from comics and is dependent entirely on either films or video games, and and TikTok or whatever. And this and although we have to move into those areas and keep pushing into those areas, nonetheless, I think efforts, if anyone is qualified to perhaps provide the kind of energy, it might be someone like him, revitalization over the next generation.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting insight, and I think there might be something to that. And I want to know what's up with that, if those rumors are true, and what what he might be doing with DC, or what could come out of that for sure. And things are changing definitely in the industry, especially with Marvel and moving with Penguin Random House, doing that. That's an interesting move as well.
And whether somebody could provide the same kind of energy within Marvel, because I don't really see it right now.
Right.
Unfortunately. Yeah, that's just my superhero take.
Yeah.
Nandor, I wanted to thank you for inviting me, but I'm going to have to take off.
Yeah, no, totally, Monique. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, and love to have you on again. And like I said, I'll let everyone know, of course, when we'll do the next one. But I really appreciate you coming on, and I can't wait to read Susan Keem. So yeah,
thank you so much. I'd love to come back next week, so hopefully I'll be able to.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, yeah, you have a great night, and yeah, we'll see you soon.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, Easter or not, I'm okay with it. It'd be fun to have. It would be fun to kind of have a semi-regular panel, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'd be into it, but I'm going to go too as well. It was really nice to meet you in real time, Nandor, and you as well, Joe.
Yeah, it's great to meet you. We'll have to talk more sometimes. I actually just interviewed Bill Loebs the other day for Comics by Perch, and that was fun.
So don't let me leave without telling me how he is, because he stayed at our house. He stayed at my house for 3 days 2 years ago, and we made him a bunch of money at the con, basically. And I don't know how he's been doing since then. Does he have more of a stable life?
He seems a little more stable. He seemed all right. Was we talked to him. He was on camera. He seemed okay.
Oh, that's good. And his wife too. Is she doing all right?
Yeah. His wife's doing well. Great.
Well, yeah, I'm glad to hear that. One of my one of the best things about having him over was I have the entire run of Jaguar, which is very early Latina superheroine, probably the first Latina superheroine to ever headline a comic series, I think. Yeah. Brazilian, right? Back in 1992.
Yeah.
And in any case, it's a really great series, and I had him sign every issue of all 13.
Yeah. No,
in the basement. I have a photo of him doing that. It's great.
Nice. I mean, he broke a lot of new ground. People forget that Pied Piper came out before North Star.
Sure. No, well, I mean, it's it is a landmark, but it's also a well-written thing as well, and
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, it's a good example of how things should be going. Anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys hopefully next week, and thanks for the news about Bill Loebs. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye-bye, Nandor.
Thanks for coming on, man. Yeah. We'll see you later. All right, it's just the two last standing,
I'm probably not going to stay too much longer, but now, hey, we're here together. So,
yeah,
might as well awesome. Talk for a few minutes then. So, I don't know. You're going to be crowdfunding this next project too, or?
Yeah, Man Child issue 1 going to be this summer. and actually have a couple of Marvel DC artists that are doing some variant covers for the first issue. So I'm really excited to show those off soon. I haven't announced who they are yet, but I've been teasing it every now and then. I've been really excited to work with them, and there've been some people I wanted to work with for years, and I really love their art and their work. So yeah, it's my new I guess you could call it big project in a way, but it's really exciting for me, and I can't wait to share more of it.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's after 11 here, so I should probably head out too. But
All right, man. Yeah.
but no,
you're
this
good.
is good. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, and yeah, we'll definitely have you back, and I really
Yeah.
appreciate everyone showed up. It was great. This is awesome, and I think it's the start of something really really cool.
Yeah, sure. No, well, keep me in mind. I don't know if I can make all of them, but I'll hopefully come back, and and we'll keep in touch, of course. So.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. Well, hey, yeah,
Oh,
you have a good night too, and
yeah.
we'll catch you later.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Right, guys, it's just me. I'll probably just be on here for the next, few minutes or so. But if you have any questions, definitely comment, let me know. Hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. Really didn't know exactly how it was gonna go, because it's like I was saying at the beginning of the show, it's like uh, exactly how do you write and work while kind of engaging with other writers and other people, and so I think it's something that we'll kind of figure out as we go along. But I'm really excited about it, and I love doing this tonight. And like I said, I'm going to be working on Manchild, and I have the Marvel Encyclopedia with me, doing some character designs, thinking about some ideas for some new characters. And so, yeah, if you have any questions, for the viewers watching, definitely let me know. And I'm just going to be here. And yeah, so let's do this. Actually, get some writing done. I kind of figured with this first episode, it would be a little trickier um, because I wanted to introduce everyone. And I figured that the people that would show up tonight, we could introduce them. And the next time they come on, we can really get to it. And anyone new who shows up, we'll introduce, and they'll get to kind of share what they're working on in their story. And that way, as we go along, if you miss an episode where they first kind of came on the panel, they can you can go back and watch that episode and kind of see like how they became a part of this group. And I'm really encouraging comic writers from indie to professional level, wherever. If you're just someone who wants to write comics, it doesn't matter. you know um Definitely, we'll have you on, and I have the link pinned if you're watching on YouTube, on the live chat on YouTube. So if you're someone who's watching right now and you want to join in, totally cool. If not, that's all right. And like I said, if you have questions or anything you want to kind of bounce off me as a writer, definitely comment and let me know, and ask away, and I'd love to talk and all that. So but yeah, like I'd love to do this on a weekly basis. Like I said, I don't know if we'll do it next Sunday because of Easter, but um, definitely just stay in touch, and follow me on social media, and I'll definitely post when the next episode is. So we'll keep that going. But really been enjoying this. So yeah, got my notebook, got my Marvel Encyclopedia, and it's going to be writing. So hopefully this isn't too boring. And like I said, if you have any questions, or you want to talk about something that you've been watching or writing or working on, just let me know. Like that's totally cool. So it's always really interesting, like uh, coming up with characters. Something I'll have to ask the panel too. But like, how do you come up with character names or um, character designs? And I think looking at other Manchild specifically, superhero book, looking at other characters and kind of getting inspiration from, um, you know, the color schemes for certain characters and uh, all that kind of stuff. I think looking at reference books and looking at some of your favorite. Hopefully, you guys could hear me. Looking at some of your favorite, um, characters and what you love about them, what you love about their look, and if you can tell, like, if that character is a hero or villain just from, uh, you know, their visuals, the visuals of the character. That's always really like important, I think, as a writer and as a creator for when you're making characters. You want them to jump off the page. You want them to scream hero, villain, or anti-hero, or um, you know, uh, you know, measly citizen, or whatever. So henchman, that kind of thing. And so the characters I'm working on now, there's I'm not going to go into it specifically, but I'm looking for something specific and something. It's a cast of characters that I'm trying to figure out for. So that's what I'm going to be doing here, and just looking through this. And if anyone has any like tips or tricks or things they want to talk about character, or character design, I'd love to talk about that too. So yeah, it's an open panel, guys. So yeah, like if you want to join in, just click that link. That's pinned at the top of the live chat, YouTube, for the YouTube live broadcast, and just come on in and join. And I'd love to talk and have you on. You can share your projects, things you're working on, and do all that stuff. Definitely gonna be silent for a few minutes. Just speaking about Marvel characters, looking through this Marvel encyclopedia, there's a lot of great Marvel characters. Something that comes to mind here. I remember George Lucas talking about this, and he said, I was watching some special features for some of the Star Wars movies. Forget which one specifically, and but he was talking to the designers for production design when it comes to some of the ships and characters, and he was saying, like, if you can't tell what something is within like 3 to 5 seconds, then redo it and get a different design. And so like they would bring designs to him, and they would show it to him. And if George Lucas didn't exactly know what that was, like what kind of ship it was, or if it was a ship, or if it was something else, he'd have to be like, no, like go back to the drawing board and bring it back. And then if he could tell what it was, he would approve it. And that's kind of what I was talking about a little bit earlier with like characters. It's like, how can you tell what the best design is for a character? And like, do they scream hero or villain or anti-hero? And the comic book medium being a comic book, uh, having the visuals, be the most important thing about the story, really showing that, and giving off a particular vibe that you want the reader to have, is really, really important and really vital for the characters. And so that's always a really difficult thing to do, that you have to like get right. And I love seeing like different designs for characters, like earlier designs for characters that didn't make the cut, and you see kind of how the progression for designs went, um, and that's always like really interesting to me to see where they start and where they end up, and seeing like preliminary sketches and just fun little things that they might have added to this character, and trying to find that iconic look. Kind of an Invincible nod there. Um, if you watch the Invincible episodes, you'll know what I'm talking about with the word iconic. But yeah, it's like it's really important for character design to what you're trying to say with it. If there wasn't any dialogue, like what are they speaking, and what are they um, you know sharing to the reader that is unspoken, that lets the reader know, like, hey, I think I know who this character is or who this person is. Yeah, I'll definitely keep this live, unless someone joins in. I'd say if someone doesn't join in the next, 10 minutes or so, I'll cut the stream. But thanks, guys, for watching. Like, I really do appreciate it. This means a lot. And, hitting over 100 subscribers was just like so exciting for me. And I'm planning on doing a celebration stream with Anthony this week at some point. And, celebrating hitting over 100 subscribers. That's like super cool, just launching this channel and having that many people, kind of want to see what you're working on. And um, yeah, keep sharing the channel out, guys. And please, I added the the link to sign up to Manchild Issue 1, the pre-launch link. Um, like, please hit the notify me button there. Just click on that link and um, be notified when we launch. I'm trying to get up to 100 followers before we launch the Kickstarter for issue 1 of Manchild. So I'm just going to leave this up here, and yeah. So if you guys could please go to that link and hit the notify me on launch. I'd love to hit 100 followers before we uh, launch the campaign this summer. I want to launch it after I fulfill Seasons Volume 2 summer, because I don't want there to be too much overlap, and I want the previous campaign to be done and finished before I start a whole new one. Um, but I'm going to be throughout April and May and June, depending on how fast we get summer done, which we're making a lot of headway with. Um, I'm going to be teasing and showing you guys, the covers. And like I was telling Joe, uh, there's some Marvel DC artists that are doing variant covers for issue 1. And I'm going to be revealing those here on my YouTube channel, and um, going to be, sharing artwork from Manchild, and really excited about this project, and really excited about um, sharing this with everyone, because it's going to be a really special project. So yeah, please go to the Kickstarter pre-launch page and hit the notify me on launch. And yeah, like, let's get to 100 followers so that when we launch it, it's a really strong launch on day 1. And like I said, if anyone's watching and they want to hop in and talk and show off their work, or just want to hang out with me and write, join in and we'll do this. And um, like I said, I think the next few weeks, if we have the same people coming on, we'll do a lot more writing than talking. Now that kind of everyone's acquainted with everyone, I wanted to make sure that uh, everyone felt comfortable and that we were acquainted with each other. And, everyone kind of knows their background. So viewers that are watching these streams can, follow their work and see what they're working on, and get to know them more, and follow them on social media and check them out and check out their work. And I really want everyone here to um, be able to get their work across and show what they're working on, and all their different projects and stuff. Such a big book. Trying to make room for it here. Oh, also, for everyone who backs Seasons Volume 2 Summer, this just occurred to me. I just sent out the surveys today. So everyone who backed Seasons Volume 2 on Kickstarter, um, the surveys just went out today. So check your emails, and get back with me all your information. We're getting so close to finishing production for the book. So I'm super excited to get these books out to you guys. And yeah, so surveys are sent out, and it's really important that you fill out those surveys if you want to get your book. So fill out, your address and all that good stuff, and that way we can get the books out to you. see, we got a question here. Elton John and the Elton Knights asks, I wasn't able to see the live stream from the beginning. Will it be on here for later viewing? Definitely. Yeah, so it'll be on the Foxhole Comics YouTube channel here so that you'll be able to watch it from the beginning. And yeah, all the live streams that I do on this channel, you'll be able to, rewatch them and check them out. So totally, you'll have it on there and you can revisit it. And like I said, I'm going to be trying to do these weekly. And if you can't, watch the live stream, that's, I get that for sure. So you'll be able to, watch it as, a kind of regular upload on YouTube. But yeah, so if you can't make it to the live streams, don't worry about it. I'll have them up there on the channel. So right when this ends, it'll be on there. You can watch from the beginning. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, Elton. Big Elton John fan, so that's great stuff. You might be wondering, let's see what it says here. Haha, my pleasure. Totally, man. I was gonna say you might be wondering, okay, why am I specifically looking at the Marvel Encyclopedia? And so Manchild is dedicated to Stanley and Jack Kirby's work, the really the foundational pieces to the Marvel universe. And so I'm looking at the Marvel Encyclopedia for character designs because I really want the characters in this universe in this story to really present and feel like Silver Age characters and like you're reading a Stan and Jack comic, but or reading a Silver Age book. And not that I won't look at DC characters at all, but just for the story in particular, looking at reference material, looking at other characters, I don't know how you guys, those who are watching, think about uh, character design and how to find, names and in particular, designs themselves. Maybe you work with an artist, or maybe you come up with all of the initial designs and send them to your artist. But uh, I think that looking at other characters and trying not to be derivative, not to try to copy them, but looking for inspiration for what you think might work. Whether it's something in the shoulders or the legs or the waist or the eyes. Looking at all those types of things that can help you in finding those identifiable and those kind of iconic traits, so to speak, for your character. And yeah, so I think it's really, really important to, not copy other characters. You don't want to do that, but you want to find what works, and maybe something will strike you that is a very little aspect of one character that you can use to make your characters stand out and feel like a superhero story or a superhero character or a character from a comic book. And let me know, guys, if like the microphone being here does not like translate as well. I'm just trying to make room for the book here. But if you guys can't hear me, just let me know and I can, get it closer or adjust. Don't want it to be like, I can't hear anything you say. Doing this, streaming stuff has been such a learning experience. And so really getting feedback is really important for me, and trying to make it better, with each episode, and, doing these live streams, and like, Evan suggesting what he did, like, I'm all for that. And I love that idea. And I would love to hear your guys' thoughts when it comes to what you think would be cool for the writer's room stream. And if you're, a writer and you're tuning in and you're like, hey, I'd really like to talk about this. I'd love to answer questions in the chat. And if you want to come on and, show off your work, or if you have a question about your story right now, and you don't know where to go with it, come on, and we'll talk about it. And, maybe we can help each other out here, and, you know, get you through what you're trying to do with your story. And um, I think that's what this is all about. This is about being productive. And even though even though I didn't get any writing done tonight, like I kind of expected it, um, you know, uh, it's about trying to, um, you know, break through barriers when it comes to writing, and being able to be comfortable with other creative people and doing it. So yeah, I want this to be um, a thing for everyone, not just me and sharing my work, but and not something that is just to share what your crowdfunding project is, but something to share your progression and what you're working on. And like I said, maybe you're starting your first comic, or maybe you're at the end of a series, and you're trying to stick that landing. Like, we can talk about that on here. And um, if you want to totally unveil your story, that's cool. If you don't, that's okay too. Let's see, we got a question here. Ian, do you give yourself a writing schedule, time you dedicate to it? So scheduling for me is tricky, because pull this a little closer just to make sure. Uh, Really, since I'm a very busy person in my day job, and my family life, and different commitments that I have, and uh, also different creative commitments. I play in a band with my brother, and we work on music, and do different stuff. Really, writing to me is whenever I have time to do it. And uh, the days that I'm off from work, or the times when I'm alone and I have time to myself, those are the times where I really take advantage of having uh, the ability and the time to think, and to write. And I do try to write while I'm at work as well, if I have time, on my breaks. If I'm, when I'm driving to work, when I'm driving home, thinking about the stories, and if work's not that busy that day, um, uh, getting my notebook out for a second if I can, and writing down an idea that might have popped in my head. And um, so scheduling is really difficult for me, and I've been trying to find that out, and trying to work that out, what works for me. And so far, what I've been doing has worked. So I haven't felt necessarily like I have to go, okay, I need to do this, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or schedule it out that way. But I will say, if you really want to make waves and get as as much done as possible, scheduling yourself out is super important. Like, um, you'll get the most done that way. I think in general, for writers in general, that's the best way to do it. And for me, I've just found that um, doing it when I can, when I have enough time, um, and maybe it's because I'm fast enough in those times that I can get as much done that I can. Um, I don't really consider myself a fast writer, but thinking about it that way, um, it makes it to where um, I really take the opportunity. Like I take advantage of that opportunity, and I'm like, I need to come up with something now because I have 30 minutes or an hour, and uh, and then all this the creative juices start flowing, or however you want to put it, and the sparks start flying, and I'm like, okay, like here we go, we got to do this. I share a similar amount of time constraints, so I really understand that same situation. Yeah, yeah. Like I think a lot of people feel that way too, and that's something that we were talking about getting burnout during the stream, and uh, I really liked what Eben said because he said if you missed it, that he doesn't really believe that you can get burnout, or that writer's block is a thing, and uh, that might be a little, I want to say, controversial. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it definitely breaks the mold of what most people would say. I mean, there are like books about not getting burnout and being creative and stuff, and uh, but I think my problem isn't necessarily getting burnout. I think a lot of people um, feel that way, and that's a good maybe general question to get out of the way. But my problem is finding time. Um, that's more of the issue because, like Eben, I could do this all day. To quote Captain America here, but um, I really could write and create and do that. I want to do this full time, and I want this to be something that I do for the rest of my life. This is my career choice, and so finding any time I can feels like an opportunity. It feels like you know, you found some treasure, you found a gem, and you get to, gaze upon it for a little bit and get to work on it. And it's or taking coal and applying heat and pressure to that coal and getting a diamond. Like you'll get that diamond. You just got to dig far enough. You gotta put that amount of pressure, um, put enough pressure, enough heat to get there, and that's once you get it, it's all worth it. And so, really finding time seems to be the hardest thing for me because there's just a lot going on, a lot of commitments, a lot of things that you have to balance, and you have to go. Do I hang out with my friends tonight? Do I? Do this thing, that could be fun, but like how do you keep your social life? I know Jeff Lemire, uh, I remember him saying that like he has no like social life at all. Like he just has his wife, his family, and that's it. and and that's like he's awesome, and he's a great creator. I love him. He's done some of my favorite comic book work. But not everyone's in that same situation, or some people, just have friendships and relationships and things that they have that they don't want to be a bad friend or a bad partner or whatever. And you have to um, keep those in check, in line. But hopefully they don't bleed into your writing time. And that's something that I struggle with on a day to day basis. And I'm always thinking about, I say that's the one constant thought that I have in my head every single day is when will I get to write? Um, and it's kind of a blessing and a curse. Um, but it really keeps me driven, and it lets me see those opportunities where they appear, so that if I'm getting my car looked at the dealership, or at a um, I don't, what do you call those places, AutoZone, and getting your tires changed, and or if you're on the bus, like commuting to your work, or finding those opportunities where you could just be sitting looking on your phone when you actually could be writing. um and you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised about how much time you'll actually save yourself there, because instead of checking YouTube or checking social media and emails and all that stuff, you could be writing, and maybe you write on your notes, your notepad on your phone, or a particular Word document or document that you use to write. um, there's um, you can do that on your phone instead of looking at YouTube or social media or whatever, because I keep reminding myself this. Uh, that's everything that you check on social media will be there like before you go to bed. Like, you can go on your phone before you go to bed, and everything that you think you might have missed will be there. You might be a few hours late to the announcement or something. Like, I don't know, but um, it'll be there, and you'll get all your information, and all the videos that you want to watch. Uh, you can do that, when you wake up in the morning, or like I said, right before you go to bed. Those opportunities you have during the day to write, that you normally would be doing something else. You can find time and do that. And if you're really passionate about what you're doing and being a writer, you will make the time. You will find the time. Monique was saying that she works from like 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. That is commitment. I mean, that is like goodness, like, I don't necessarily do that. And I'm just like, ooh, it makes me think, like, should I do that? But yeah, so I could keep rambling. I don't want to, but I really love talking about this, because you're your own worst enemy when it comes to writing. And check out my Jonathan Hickman and resistance video that I put up, because a lot of people have come to me and messaged me and told me how much that helped them, and giving them some motivation and some help, and looking at that. You know, I would recommend checking that video out, because what he has to say is really important. That's a good point. Yeah. I have the issue of flying off on tangents and starting too many projects at once. How have you kept focused on your characters' stories? So this is a common thing that I see writers, deal with, and creators deal with. And um, for me, I had to be honest, it hasn't been an issue. It's not something I struggle with personally, and it's because if I'm on a particular issue, if I'm working on a project, and I'm like working on issue 2 of something, I make it kind of a rule for me, um, that I will not work on anything else, at least scripting wise. Um, I will not work on scripting something else until I'm done scripting that issue. And the reason why I do that is because I don't want to lose focus. And um, when you're in the story that you're working on, uh, and you let that sit for too long, or you go off and work on something else, you could miss something. And there's definitely that possibility that, hey, I could totally miss this. And um, you don't want to miss those opportunities to, um, when you're in it, you're in it, and it's like, you, to go off on something else, it could potentially hurt your story. I mean, unless you're at a really good stopping point of a scene. But um, I like taking things one thing at a time. And I'll be scripting something, doing the really hard work on a script, and then I'll be working on ideas for other stories. So there will be, I'll be able to, like, flex my creative muscles in a different way. But I'm putting the most work into what's important now, what needs to get done now, and then having fun with the other things that I'm working on, and having that kind of be my, um, place to run around with and to play with, and then doing the majority of the work on the script itself. But I think we have Tyler here. Hey, Tyler.
Dude, did I miss everything?
Yeah.
Frick! Oh, frick.
No, that's
My
okay,
bad,
man. No, it's totally okay. I'm glad you joined, and I was actually, I was just responding to some questions here, but yeah, we started at 8 p.m. Central, and we had about like 6 or 7 different people on.
Oh, well, frick. Well, that's good. That's good. My
Yeah,
bad.
no,
dude.
it was a lot of fun. It was really cool. And I was really happy with everyone who showed up, and it meant a lot to me. But yeah, no, I'm working on character designs for characters for Man-Child, my series that I'm working on. So I've been looking through the Marvel Encyclopedia and like looking at different characters and like character designs, and just seeing if anything kind of like, you know, speaks to me for certain characters that I'm thinking about, and trying to get a visual and a handle on. But it's been really interesting doing this because this is the first one, and when everyone left, I'm like, man, what do I do? But that's really going to be the hardest part about doing this series, because I want people to work. Like I want people to talk and bounce off ideas and stuff, but I want it to be a place where people come and they try to get work done. And
that's hard.
Yeah.
I had Frank Martin come on, and he was like, okay, I have an idea for a stream. I'll write a comic for the first like 30 minutes, and then the last 30 minutes I'll give you the script. And while we were, and I was like, okay. And while we were streaming, he's like, gosh, I cannot talk during this. He was like having the hardest time writing, and talking at the ssame time.
Right.
Yeah, but if anything, what you could do, I don't even know how it would be if you did like a stream only comic, like let's say you create, oh my gosh, all right, we're just gonna create some random Apple Man. He gets his powers from eating apples. I don't know. And you say your stream, hey guys, we're gonna create a comic book together, and you just throw the Google Doc up there. And you're typing it. I wonder what the reception would be like. Would people go, hey, like, ask you, hey Nandor, why are you doing your panels like this? Or and they could really see it live. That could be interesting. It's daunting because you're really just exposing yourself entirely on how you create comics. Right. But that might be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I've thought about that. I've thought about and that's what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to start this and have people, participate and engage it in a way where, they become invested in it too.
Yeah.
I want people to feel like that they're a part of this, and not just, I want them to work on their own stuff too, but I could see this evolving into so many different things depending on what kind of catches fire. But I think that would be pretty cool, and maybe that could be something that would turn into a project, and
maybe people go, you're like, hey, we did the Apple Man script, now we're gonna go find an artist, right? And then they get to see the script that the chat maybe gotta give input in. They're like, hey, maybe you should do this, and you're like, oh, that's a really good thing, and you'll put it in. Now the chat's really invested in this script you've made, and now there's an artist, and you're like, oh, and they're like, oh my gosh, I helped, I was part of this. you even give them some credits in the book. I don't know.
Yeah, but that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, that's why I was so hesitant on actually doing this, because I have that problem too. I know I can't write and talk, but I thought there's a lot of other things that and maybe other people can, and I thought, well, that's cool. But there's a lot of other things that I can do. I can talk and kind of look at doing character designs, or doing other things like editing maybe, or doing you know, some marketing stuff, like a guy on here, Eben Matthews, who is kind of the head of Macroverse.
Oh, I saw that you had him on.
Yeah, he was doing marketing stuff, and you know, that's a big part of like being an indie creator right now, is, you know, like trying to, you know, working on teasers and working on you know, just little visual things that is kind of monotonous, or just, you know, things that aren't really, that don't take a lot of like thought, and you can do that and also engage with, you know, other people. And
are you on a Mac or are you on a PC?
I'm on a Mac. Yeah.
Okay, I hear that there's a way that you can like plug in some music into StreamYard, so it'll play in the background. And so like, what maybe you could do, there's an artist I follow, and he does these streams, but what he'll do is he goes, okay guys, I'm drawing for the next 15 minutes straight. I'm not looking at the chat. I'm just focused on the art. And then after that 15 minutes, we'll take another 15-minute break, talk about what you guys saw, answer your questions, and then we'll go back. Then I'm going to go do another 15 minutes. He puts the music on.
Oh, gotcha.
And then he comes back in. So it's like, you know, hey guys, today I'm editing my comic. And then you go in for 15 minutes, you do the editing, and then you can go, okay, you can answer some questions. Or maybe you go, hey, we're going to do some character designs, and you start showing them how you do it. Without having to look at the chat, and then you can go, hey guys, we did our 15 minutes of that, let's get into the chat. I don't know, it's cool though. I'm glad you started this.
Yeah, no, I am too, like, and I'm really excited about it, and it's flexible, and that's what I love about it too. You know, I want it to be, like I said, something that people put their input in, and this can be something, you know, for both writers and artists, but, you know, hopefully a hub where writers feel like really comfortable and hanging out, and just coming on and sharing what they're working on, and being like, kind of, I've kind of said this a lot during the stream, but being like, hey, you know, like a story that I started, you know, during the stream, or, you know, issue 1 of the story that I started, I'm on issue 5 now, you know, and you can like actively see their progression and like how much they've done. And I think that's really encouraging to me. I love seeing how much progress people make, and actively like encouraging them, you know, to keep writing and keep working on what they're doing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Congrats, by the way, getting your first 100 subscribers. Now you get that like nice URL.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited about that. And yeah, I'm planning on doing like a celebration stream sometime this week. Just to be like, hey, we hit 100 subscribers. We're so popular. No,
yeah, you should.
But yeah, I think I'm really excited about that, and I'm really grateful. I think that's like you know, being on here like a month and a half or something, and getting to that. If we can keep that same momentum, it would be really great.
Now, how hard has it been to keep this up? With everything else you have in life, and also making your own comics, how hard has it been?
So I have to say, the hardest part was setting everything up and just like learning everything and getting it like getting my room the way I wanted it to be, like, was the hardest thing about all this. Like, and
yeah, you got a nice backdrop. I'm envious.
Yeah, thanks. And just like totally, really, it was all of the stuff behind the scenes. You know, thinking about doing this stream, I was like just the thought process that was going on behind the scenes of, okay, what kind of videos do I want to make? What kind of like what do I actually have to say? You know, what's interesting that I think would be cool? Because, you know, there's so many YouTubers and people out there that are making comics that are, you know, they have their niche, and I don't want to like invade that. Like they're doing their thing. I want to do my own thing. I want to have my own thing that people go to and they go, this guy's doing something different. And so that was the hardest part in figuring that out. But kind of doing the videos and doing the streams, like, it's actually been a lot of fun. It's been more fun than I thought it would be.
That's good.
Yeah, like I've actually been surprised. Like when I've been streaming with Anthony, and just kind of editing videos and stuff. Like I'm proud of it. Like it makes me excited more than like, oh man, I'm dreading doing this or anything like that. Like I was really nervous today because I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go, but I'm really excited to do it. But I was like, man, like because I invited a lot of people and I messaged a lot of people, and I'm like, I'm always worried about um, getting everything right and not being too nervous and being able to talk to everyone. And so balancing all of that is really the hardest part, and just engaging with people, making sure I'm listening, and like, because like when people are talking, I'm like looking at the chat and making sure everything's working and making sure that everything's flowing well. And so trying to stay attentive with everyone has been kind of a challenge, but really doing the videos and this channel, like seeing it grow has really helped me out. It's really made me go, whoa, this is actually working, and this is actually um, something that I could see myself keep doing. And also behind the scenes, what I was doing is I was recording enough stuff that when I launched the channel, I would have enough content that I wouldn't be always having to struggle to get a video done for each week.
Oh, like a buffer.
Yeah, I could have something that, in case something gets in the way, I can post this, and
Man,
so,
I did that once. I had a 20-week buffer. I had like 20 videos in the can. And then like what happened was I'd make like a new video and I'd be like, crap, like I want this one to go out now.
Oh, yeah.
And then so I was like, F my buffer. So now I record everything on Sundays. Like I recorded 2 videos today and edited them.
Oh, gotcha.
Like it's hard because maybe sometimes you want to be like really relevant. So like if something happens that day, you're like, crap, do I make a video right now?
Yeah.
And if you do it late, it's old news. Yeah. But at the same time, I think what I like about your content, I was just going through it, scrutinizing you. It's just that it's evergreen. Like if like I've got videos where it's like this just in, and those videos have like a really high spike the day of, and then once it becomes old news, like no one watches that video because like it's old news. So the fact the art of writing comics, like all it takes is for one of those videos to like really like smash it with some people, and then now you've got more people wanting to watch those videos. I'd make them into a playlist, actually. The Art of Writing.
Yeah, that's actually playlist. I want to do that. Yeah, I've thought about that. I was like,
because then once people get stuck in a playlist, YouTube will automatically force them to binge it unless they get out of it. So I think that's I think it's awesome. I just wanted to pop in and say hi. Sorry, I freaking missed it.
No.
I just wanted to come in and say hi. I got to bounce. But I just wanted to make sure I was here on the inaugural comic book writers room.
No, man. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Like coming on. Like I said, I'm gonna try to make this a weekly thing. And yeah, if you have any ideas or anything you think would be cool, just hit me up and let me know.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, like it probably won't be like every Sunday. It depends, but like I know next Sunday is like Easter. I keep telling people, and like so we probably won't have it next Sunday, but I'll keep everyone in the loop, and I'll make sure everyone knows.
And maybe it's just a monthly thing, and everyone, definitely don't burn yourself out. Definitely don't burn yourself out.
Totally.
But you're also a writer, so like screw you. You're like a writer, so you don't have to like draw the book. So like you can do whatever you want. No, thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, man, and we'll see you soon. Yeah, we got Ichthus. What is up, Total Excellence? Hey, man. Tyler sneaking in and streaming his mod would know. Yeah, totally. You would know. And then he just left. So he was just in and out like that. But so I'm probably gonna close it here, guys. But thanks for everyone tuning in. And sorry, Ichthus, that you're tuning in, and I'm gonna close the stream. But we're almost at 3 hours, so I figure it's good to go. But so yeah, this was awesome, guys. I had a lot of fun I really want to keep this up, and I really want this to be something that um, we do, weekly, maybe monthly, but I want to keep this up, and I want this to be a really productive and uh, encouraging place to be in the comics community. And I want you to come here and feel like this is a lot of fun, and that this is, I can get work done, and I can, talk to these people and um, be a part of a writing community together. Um, so just real quick, please subscribe to Foxhole Comics on YouTube if you're not already subscribed and you're watching this. Just type in Foxhole Comics. That's my channel. I do weekly videos. I'm posting weekly, sometimes a couple times a week. And like I said, I'm planning on doing a celebration stream with Anthony Gonzalez Clark, the artist for Seasons. This week for hitting over 100 subscribers. So I'm really excited about that. And so be tuning in, and subscribe to Foxhole Comics. And in the description for this video, in all my videos, I have links to where you can read Seasons on Macroverse, and also links to the Manchild issue 1 Kickstarter sign up page. So please sign up for Manchild issue 1 there and get notified when we launch. I want to hit 100 followers. Love to hit that before we launch. So please sign up there. And also, Seasons volumes 1 and 2 are in demand on Indiegogo right now. So please check that out. And if you don't have Seasons, and you want to get these hardcover books, I have all that in the description below of this video. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Please subscribe. Please like this video. If you have any suggestions, anything that you think would be cool for the stream to do, let me know. Hit me up. I'm really all for that and love your all's participation. Let me say that correctly. Thank you guys, and we'll see you later. We'll see you on the next issue. Next episode. This was the Comic Book Writers Room, Session 1. So be on the lookout for Session 2.